All right, guys, before we get into this video, it is 2024. Wow, I'm doing this a few years longer than I ever expected. I am gonna make an announcement for you guys because obviously I see the comments and the channel isn't what it used to be. So we got lots to discuss. I'll tell you what's been going on with me, but stay tuned for that. I'll make it the channel trailer in the coming days. Before Katt Williams went on to Club Shay Shay YouTube show and took shots at Ludacris, Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, and a whole flock of other comedians. Before Katt Williams exposed Ludacris for being part of the Illuminati in Hollywood. Before Katt Williams slammed Hollywood for controlling black male comedies and having men wearing dresses. Before Katt Williams would go trending all over the internet with viral memes and kicking off 2024 in a way we had never seen before.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
Now, 2024 started off with a bang after Katt Williams. Well, he blew up the internet with his savage roast, targeting fellow comedians, celebrities, and the entire Hollywood scene. Now, this is after he appeared on Club Shay Shay, hosted by three-time Super Bowl champion. Of course, I'm talking about the one and only Shannon Sharpe. And if you want to be before they're famous on him, let us know in the comments down below. Now, during this said show, which is destroying the internet, becoming the most watched podcast of all time, well, Katt didn't hold back, taking shots at comedians like Kevin Hart, Chris Tucker, Steve Harvey, Martin Lawrence, Ricky Smiley, Faison Love, Michael Blackson, and more. Now, long before his interview with Shannon, well, Katt, he had an ongoing beef with Kevin Hart, accusing him once more of being an industry plant set to destroy him for refusing to conform to the desires of the Hollywood's elite. I suppose, you know, when you're the short guy in comedy and another guy shows up even shorter, that could rub you the wrong way. Now, Katt pointed out that Kevin had accepted roles that Katt had turned down. Now, he also questioned Kevin's immense success, highlighting the absence of sold-out comedy shows in the comedian's career and discrepancies in a documentary detailing his journey to stardom. Now, besides Kevin, well, Katt also rambled about his beef with Cedric the Entertainer, shedding light on a dispute that has persisted over time.
Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Katt Williams' joke? Yeah. He said, it don't line up. How it don't line up that I did it on TV in 2018?
Now, in a 2022 Club Shay Shay episode, well, Cedric denied allegations of stealing one of Katt's most prized stand-up jokes. But Katt made it clear that he'd let bygones be bygones with Cedric after an apology, but when Cedric fibbed during the Club Shay Shay interview, well, Katt felt like their previous beef, it was back on. Now, Katt threw shade at Steve Harvey, accusing him of plagiarism and suggesting that the idea behind Harvey's hit show, The Steve Harvey Show, well, it might have been borrowed from Matt Curry's Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Now, he also claimed that Harvey was envious of Bernie Mac's Hollywood success, aspiring to be a star himself despite lacking the range and quality of talent. Then Katt, he threw Chris Tucker's name, calling him one of the comedy greats. The world has lost. So Chris is alive and well, but what Katt meant with his statement was that the Chris Tucker we got now is the Epstein Island Chris Tucker. Apparently, Chris was among the bunch of celebrities known to have made a trip to the island. Well, the Hollywood elite, and he can only say what he can say, I guess. I remember being in Vegas and seeing Chris Tucker doing a little bitty show. I don't know. Now, Katt also mentioned how Chris, he didn't mind the green stuff despite his ties to the church.
Chris Tucker didn't want to be the poster child for smoking weed. He don't smoke weed like that. Right. He in the church.
He also mentioned things about Chris being in tight with Michael Jackson. Then Katt dropped a bomb saying MJ, nicknamed Chris, Christmas. Makes you wonder what else went down between those two, right?
Michael Jackson's best friend, Christmas. Michael Jackson called him Christmas.
Now, Katt also shut down Ricky Smiley's story about being considered for the role of Money Mike in the film Friday After Next. Now, the character that Katt played, he stated that Ricky was never in the cards. It turns out almost a year ago, well, Smiley brought that up on Club Shay Shay, and he was so convinced he had it in the bag, but Katt, he set the record straight. Now, Katt also mentioned that he turned down a disturbing R-rated scene in the film.
The truth of the matter is, the Money Mike in the original script got raped in the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay with.
Now, when the film came out, well, Ice Cube, both writer and star of the film Friday After Next, well, he jumped into the conversation on social media. He gave props to Katt's unforgettable take on Money Mike and clarified that Ricky missed out on the role. Katt nailed it with his distinct pimp vibes. However, Cube, he denied the allegations that he wrote an R-rated scene for the film, slamming it as way off base with his creative style. But this ain't it. We're just getting started. Now, Katt, Katt really laid into Ricky for that whole cross-dressing comedy routine, saying he wasn't feeling it at all. He straight up said it seemed like a compromise to please those big shots out in Hollywood. Now, Katt didn't hold back on his beef with Faison Love either. Now, he brought up how despite being in the comedy scene for 30 years, well, Faison hasn't had his own special and just keeps recycling his same old character in every role. And then Shannon, well, he tried to cool things off, and Katt threw in a zinger, telling Shannon, you having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
All right, now we got to get to Michael Blackson. Oh my God. Now, other than that, well, Katt, he called out Michael Blackson as well, saying he puts on a phony accent in his comedy routines. Now, Katt pointed out that despite being authentically African, well, Michael's accent was truly fake. Now, according to him, well, Michael's been holding a grudge against him for years, ever since he advised him to ditch the dirty dashiki in his wardrobe. You know, the African stuff. I don't know. Now, Katt, he then started roasting a bunch of celebs. He took a dig at Jonathan Major's look, saying Hollywood was trying hard to sell his face as the epitome of attractive black men. He even threw shade at Kim Kardashian, calling her a whore.
What do you expect? The guy married a whore. Like, what?
Oh, Lord.
Like,
And Katt talked about Kanye being all weird and how he just couldn't get why people still act surprised when Kanye does something totally off. Now, according to Katt, well, it seems as though people are deliberately expecting drama from Kanye, and then they get all upset on purpose because they're like, they just want someone to point at and be like, he's crazy. Then Katt went on to target Ludacris, claiming that he's got ties to the Illuminati and saying that's how he's gaining movie success. Now, Katt mentioned the casting for Too Fast, Too Furious, saying both he and Ludacris were considered for a role, but only one bagged it after meeting with the Illuminati. Katt revealed that there were some serious makeover requirements for the role, including changes in appearance and hairstyle. Now, apparently Ludacris, he got the nod and a whopping $200 million deal for multiple films, which set him up for the Fast and the Furious movie franchise, and I looked at his IMDb, he's been in a ton of shit ever since. Now, Katt hinted that Ludacris, he might have made some shady deals with the Illuminati to score this role. He even went on to talk about how the Illuminati supposedly hand out these light-skinned, not-so-pretty-faced wives to successful black dudes in Hollywood, pointing fingers at Ludacris's wife, Edoxy.
if you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview.
As part of the puzzling narrative that she's one of many women that are kind of put on these men, saying, you gotta marry one of the women we chose for you, and we're gonna make her light-skinned. He then dropped this wild theory about how the Illuminati's acting like a matchmaker in Hollywood for successful black guys, saying they're all given wives who look the same. Now, according to Katt, it's like they're pulling the strings behind these romantic relationships, which makes you wonder more about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. Am I right? Now, Katt also exposed the already controversial producer, Harvey Weinstein, who's currently behind bars. Now, he spilled the tea about how Harvey tried to pressure him into something wild, but Katt shut him down real quick in front of all the people at his agency. Essentially, Harvey was like, I want to suck your pee, which sounds crazy to me.
Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to in front of all my people.
Now, Katt had quite the hit list to roast, and he let loose without holding anything back, and Katt's commentary is as spicy as ever, keeping the entertainment world absolutely glued to this thing. I mean, 20+ million views on a podcast, and clips each pulling in millions of views. It's the biggest interview of recent time. Right now, Katt Williams, he's got 1 million followers on his Instagram account and 2 million over on Twitter. And those numbers, they're climbing quickly. So now let's take a trip back to the good old days of Katt Williams before he became, well, the man to expose everyone. And let's take a look at his before they're famous. That was a very long intro, but I think that'll be a standalone video talking about this interview, okay? Katt Williams was born on September 2nd, 1975 in Cincinnati, Ohio. Now, Katt Micah Williams is one of America's finest comedians and also a bit of a rapper, and he's part of a family with roots in the original Black Panther Party. You know, the ones from the Forrest Gump movie? You know, or history, right? Now, Katt, he follows Christianity and often rocks a cross during his shows as a nod to his faith. Though for a short spell in Oakland, well, he dabbled in the Nation of Islam. Raised in a Jehovah Witness household, well, Katt credits that upbringing for his choice to strike out on his own as a teenager.
That generally happens with a father-son dynamic. It was just that religious relationships are always difficult.
Now, Katt, he proudly remembers picking up books at just 3 years old and becoming fluent in languages like French and Creole. Now, he was an enthusiastic bookworm, reading around 3,000 nonfiction books annually from ages 8 to 12. At the age of 13, Katt, he left home and he became a street vendor out in Florida. He then started his journey as a comedian in Cincinnati's Avondale neighborhood. Mastering his comedic craft, he hopped to various clubs across the United States, honing his delivery and refining his routine as he went. In 1999, Katt performed stand-up comedy shows at stages like the Improv, the Comedy Club, and the Ice House, and he even owned a room at the Hollywood Park Casino where he had a large loyal following. In 2002, Katt made his acting debut on NYPD Blue, and Katt, he hit the jackpot when he won Cedric the Entertainer's Anheuser-Busch Best Los Angeles Comic Award. Now, that win, it launched Katt's career and made him land the role of Money Mike in the 2002 flick Friday After Next. Now, that's the movie where he co-starred with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker, propelling his name further in the Hollywood scene and securing him more movies and TV shows down the line. Now, arguably, you could say that Katt Williams' career never hit the heights of some other A-list black comedians, and I guess that's why he's telling all, right? Now, in 2006, Katt, he headlined his first comedy special, Let a Play a Play, and following that, he delivered his inaugural HBO stand-up special titled The Pimp Chronicles Part 1 that same year. Now, transitioning back to the big screen, he co-wrote and portrayed himself in the successful comedy film Katt Williams' American Hustle in 2007, garnering critical acclaim and cementing his status as a mainstream comedian. Now, Katt followed up with his second HBO comedy special, It's Pimpin' Pimpin' in 2008. Alongside 3 specials, he stayed busy with the comedy DVDs and a nationwide tour. Now, in 2008, during his comedy tour, hailed as the best by Billboard, it kept him at the forefront of the comedy scene. I remember when I first got into YouTube, people were already telling me Katt Williams is the best. He's the OG. He's the black man dressed like a leprechaun. You can't take your eyes off. In 2012, after taking a 4-year break, that means he was quite rich, right? Katt, he made a stand-up comeback with his 3rd HBO special titled Kattapocalypse, or Katt Apocalypse, you know what I'm saying. Now, things, they went downhill for Katt after an incident at a Seattle bar that landed him in jail. Now, during that time, he declared the end of his stand-up career. But just 3 days later, in a swift change of heart, he announced he wasn't actually hanging up the mic for good. In late 2013, Katt went on the Growth Spurt Tour. On August 16, 2014, he made a comeback with a fresh HBO special titled Katt Williams' Priceless Afterlife, and this one was directed by Spike Lee. Now, Katt's also a part of the comedic brilliance on Netflix is a Joke, with 2 specials already under his belt. There's Great America from 2018, and his latest directorial and executive producer venture, World War III, which dropped in 2022. Now, according to Katt, he aims to create a comedy legacy while emphasizing respect for his craft. Now, beyond his career aspirations, he's deeply committed to humanitarian causes. Now, Katt is devoted to his children, 7 of whom were actually adopted, and fatherhood means everything to him, especially since his son Mika was born. Now, he takes great pride in supporting his family every week, making sure they have everything they need. Now, his comedy success, it allows him to travel worldwide, support his team, support his family, and care for his loved ones. For Katt, that's the proudest accomplishment of his life. Now, Katt Williams also dipped into the music scene, adopting the stage name of Money Mike from his previous movie role. Now, he showcased his rap skills, collaborating with artists like Baby Bash, The Game, and Sugar Free. In 2006, he aligned himself with rapper Cameron's group, The Diplomats, although he never secured an official artist role within the label. On January 29, 2009, Katt released his inaugural studio live album titled It's Pimpin' Pimpin'. Later on November of 2013, he teamed up with Hell Rel for a diss track targeting Atlanta rapper Trinidad James titled Lames in the Game. Now, this was in response to Trinidad's critical comments about the state of contemporary hip-hop. Now, additionally, Katt, he made a cameo in the official music video for his Wild 'N Out co-star Nick Cannon's single, We're Talking Gigolo, back in 2003. Now, before the Club Shay Shay interview, Katt, he had always been known as a highly controversial personality in Hollywood. In November of 2006, Katt was arrested at a Los Angeles International Airport after a stolen weapon was discovered in his briefcase. Now, he pleaded no contest, resulting in 3 years probation and payment of restitution. In November of 2010, during filming in Coweta County, Georgia, Katt was accused of stealing $3,500 worth of coins and jewelry. Now, this led to his arrest and subsequent release on a $40,000 bond. Now, he's later charged with burglary and trespassing. I don't know. I've heard more stories about this guy giving out money to other comedians than actually needing to steal anything. Plus, 7 kids. I think he's doing okay. Then during a performance in Phoenix on August 27, 2011, Katt responded angrily to a heckler of Mexican descent, shouting offensive remarks. Now, he defended his actions, citing the heckler, well, he was saying anti-American comments. So, I don't know. He said some racist stuff, but what are you gonna do? In November of 2012, two of Katt's live performances, they ended abruptly due to confrontations with hecklers. One in Denver concluded after he jumped off stage to confront a heckler, and another in Oakland ended with a profanity-laced altercation requiring his removal by security. By 2012 and 2018, Katt faced a string of legal issues, from disputes at bars to child endangerment charges, missed court appearances, theft accusations, alleged battery incidents, arrests due to altercations, and charges stemming from arguments about his dog. Now, these incidents, they led to a string of arrests in different locations around the country, but hey, I like Katt Williams. You know, the man's on top of the world. He works for no one but himself. I think bad things are just happening to him. I think he's just a real guy. Now, as the curtain falls on this roller coaster ride through the highs and lows of Katt Williams' life, well, one thing is for sure, in the theater of comedy and controversy, well, his script is a saga of unpredictability, leaving the audience laughing, gasping, and scratching their head in equal measure. Buckle up, because with Katt Williams, the show never truly ends. It's merely an intermission between acts. He's currently about 52 years old. I'd say he's got another 10, 20 years left in him, so more coming from him. So whether you're cheering or jeering for Katt Williams, there's no denying the fact that he's a famous stand-up comedian and certainly one of the greats. And now that he's trending, a whole new generation is finding out who he is, so good for him. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Katt Williams' Hollywood expose? Do you think the man is speaking the truth, word for word, verbatim? Do you think he might have mental health issues? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I, for one, I think he's speaking facts, but I'd love to hear from you. You know where. All right, guys, that concludes this episode. My name is Michael McCrudden. As mentioned, I'll be making a video for you guys, telling you what's been going on with me, and I'll see you guys in another video. Boom!